Hello everybody, my name's Kamen, and it has been too long. Welcome back to the unboxing. It may not seem that long to you, but it's been a while for me. I have not had shipments coming in, for a variety of reasons, recently. I'm saving money for something big that's gonna be happening, like, next week in my time. Um, and also, just for some reason, Bandai shipments have not been coming in from pre-orders. Like, I was supposed to get Peter B in May, apparently. Like, that's at least the stated date for it. But it still hasn't shown up. So yeah, I've got some figures in the theoretical pipeline, but they probably won't have their videos come out for a while just because they haven't been showing up. So I might have to put them in the further back burner just because it fits better there, scheduling-wise. But not for this figure, because this figure is a bit of a return to form, and also is something that is fairly topical. So today, we are obviously taking a look at the next figure from the Kamen Gav line, that being Kamen Rider Valen in his Chocodon form. Yes, this is a premium Bandai item, and yes, this is the second figure released in the line. I don't like that. But it's whatever. I got Valen. I didn't get the other guy. I probably should have, but I was debating it, and I was like, I'd rather get other figures. I might try to scrounge around for it, see if I can find a good deal on it later on, but for now, it's just going to be Gav and Valen. And it's been a while since Gav came out. That figure came out in, like, February, and now it's July. Now it's late July. This figure came out, like, mid-early February. This figure came out, like, just now, in July. It's weird. It's weird that it took so long. I'm talking about US releases, by the way. Japanese releases might have been different. Whatever. But for now, this is just weird that it took so long. But anyways, I'm glad to finally have Kamen Rider Gav's secondary writer. I've liked what I've watched of Gav. I haven't watched enough of it, but I do really like it, and I'm excited for more. So, as per usual, this is a premium Bandai item, so it's in a premium Bandai shipper. It's the usual brown box. You got the Tamashii Web Shop, Kamen Rider Valen, Chocodon form. If you've seen one premium Bandai item, you've basically seen all of these. But what matters is the box inside the box, because this is just a shipper. So, I'm just carving into that. That's not what I wanted. Let me just... as you can see, I'm a little bit out of practice, because I haven't really properly done an unboxing since, like... It's been since May, yeah. Your schedule obviously looks different. It's looked like since a summer unboxing, it looks like it's been since, like, June-ish. But yeah, I kind of batch record things when I get things, and then I slowly release them over time. So it's been since May. But yeah, he's finally here. That looks nice. And there we go. And here we have the primary box for Kamen Rider Valen in his Chocodon form. And I really like this. Usually premium Bandai boxes, just for the fact that they're windowless, despite being based on what was originally a windowed design, they usually look a bit empty and plain. But this one actually looks very nice. I think it's because of the way that the logo here fills out the space that would usually be the window. I mean, it was there on the window for Gav as well, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, it's very nice. It's a nice white background. I think Gav's look... I need to find where my Gav box is. I can't... Oh, it's up there. Yeah, it also had that white background, because that's kind of the Gavi thing. But on the outer layer, you can see the candy, where on Gav it was a bunch of, like, jelly beans, essentially. This time, it's just a bunch of different chocolates, because he's chocolate-themed. He's Valentine's themed. It's very cute. You get it. We got some chocolate splotch in here. We got some chocolate here. We got some chocolate cubes around... or squares, whatever. And then in this white spot, we have the figure's name, Kamen Rider Valen with his logo there, Chocodon form. S.H.Figuarts quote is right here. Down here, we also have the name just in a more professional form. S.H.Figuarts, Tamashii Nations, Kamen Rider Valen, Chocodon form, Kamen Rider Gav, the Tamashii Nations and Bandai logo, the Tamashii Nation seal quality. And then we have a nice photo of the figure here. It looks very nice. I like this form. It's very cool. On this side, we have Kamen Rider Valen Chocodon form. That's very nice. I really like this. I think I'm going to be keeping this box. And we get a little bit more of this continued image. On this side, we get Valen just kind of standing there. Kamen Rider Valen Chocodon form, S.H.Figuarts. On the bottom, you get the Bandai sticker, which covers up an image of Valen. On the top, sorry, that was wrong. We already kind of saw it. That's Kamen Rider Valen Chocodon form, nice and chocolatey. On the back, we get some nice promotional images of the figure, as well as the extra accessory for Gav that this comes with. Simple style, heroic action, you know the deal. Toei. Let's get this open, though. So, let's slice nice and cleanly, then pull out the side. As you can see, there's some instructions in there, and there's some instructions on the other side, too. But, here we have Kamen Rider Valen in the plastic. And he's got a weapon behind him. We'll see how we handle that. But here is everything that he comes with in a nice plasticky form. Let's pop this up. Starting off with accessories, he's fairly light loadout-wise. I don't think he was too expensive. He's expensive, but he was like in like the $80 range, so I don't think he was too bad. So first off, we have this pair of hands. They're very simple paint-wise. They're essentially just, they don't have any paint. They're just black sculpted plastic. But they do have some nice glove sculpting, which is always very nice, and I like the way that they got that triangular detail. These are some sort of splayed-out action hands, which look nice. Then he has, I think these are, what are these? These are some relaxed hands, because he has fists on, I guess, which is interesting. But yeah, he has the relaxed pair of hands, which is standard at this point. Once again, very similarly detailed. You know how these are at this point. And finally, we have these, which are very specific here, because they are his trigger finger hands. And you're like, why does he need trigger finger hands? Well, that's because his henshin device is a weapon. I'm not usually a fan of Kamen Riders with henshin devices that look like this. I want my Kamen Riders to have a belt. It's good for the design. But at least Valen here has a good belt alternative. So yeah, as you can see, it's this sort of buster gun thing. These are a bit looser than I would have liked. But yeah, as you can see, it's very nicely painted, covered in show-accurate details. It's so sculpted nicely as well. It is very impressive how nice it looks. On the inside here, I kind of wish it had a little bit of sticker detailing, but you can see you have the Chocodon, fuck, what are they called again? Jeez, whatever. The little guys. Here's the chocolate one. It sticks in there nicely. I worry about knocking it loose, but it should be nice. I think there's a little bit of unfortunate, mold flashing though, so that's a little unfortunate, but whatever. As you can see, these can move out of the way. I think there's like this semi-open form that sometimes happens, but then it's mainly meant to be like this before you transform. And once you transform, you flip it like that. And then boom, it's in gun mode, which is nice. It's nice that it has all that functionality. It's really nicely sculpted. It makes it nicer than the similarly scaled 6-inch figures for Kamen Rider Gav that are just part of the main toy line. Finally, I'm going to wiggle him out of the way just for a second. Ooh, there's another plastic layer. So if you take that out of the way. You also get a pair of trigger finger hands for Gav. They are once again nicely painted in silver. I don't think they match. I don't think they're any different. Yeah, they're the same finish, which is good because they're meant to go on Gav. And they are these sort of grasping trigger finger hands because we finally have an accessory for Gav that isn't a pair of hands. Specifically, the Blade. And this is really big and really nice and really well painted. It's bigger than I expected it to be from what I saw in images. It just feels nice and big and chunky and like... sorry. Here it is next to Gav. Nice and big and chunky, and I might even display... I wasn't planning on displaying my Gav with it, but I might actually, because it's very nice. We finally have a weapon accessory, which is good. But it has that nice red and pink paint on it, while it's like a black plastic. And the white is also very clean. It doesn't look fuzzy all that much, and it's mostly in the lines. And of course, there's a little seat, which is removable, and you can put a gochinzo is what they're called. You can put a gochinzo into this little seat here. There's like a little tab. I'm not going to show it off here right now. Other people have done it anyways. And it's supposed to like essentially rocket down this like a road. But I'm probably not going to do that for the sake of not wanting to lose either of these. Especially since they're so limited in their distribution, unfortunately. Maybe I should get a spare Gov just to like put a Gochinzo in there, but this is very nice. And I'll probably put it on my Gov. But what we're all here for is the main point of this release. Kamen Rider Valen, the secondary writer from the series Kamen Rider Gov. And yeah. There's plastic everywhere, so let's get it out. I've missed doing this. I haven't had a figure come in a while, as I've said, so it's nice to just get the feeling of getting all the plastic out of the way. And I guess it was up in the shoulders because of the metallics here, which are probably easier to chip. But yeah, Valen has a really fun design. I think Gav is mostly very good on its designs. I don't think I've seen a bad design from Gav. For how silly its concept is, really, because it's all candy and sweets and snack food and junk food and stuff like that. But it manages to make it all work, aesthetically at least. It's even able to make a Kamen Rider that doesn't transform with a belt, design-wise, at least, work. Anyways, getting to the head, it looks very nice. It obviously isn't necessarily the traditional, like, layered bug eyes, because it's these chocolate squares, which look very nice. But again, it looks very nice. It's mostly just colored plastic, which I don't mind, because it does look like chocolate. Which I think is what they're going for. But as you can see, he has chocolate just written there as a nice little like wrapper, essentially. He obviously has the smaller collar, but also the big sort of collar that will probably get in the way of articulation a little bit, but does look nice overall. Again, it looks like chocolate, which, I mean, could be a bad thing for some people, but it has a little bit of a waxy quality to it, but I mean, I think it's supposed to, because again, he's a chocolate man. The like metallic red though is so resplendent. It's such a nice cherry red. It's what I would want on like an Iron Man figure. It's just so pretty, with like the little bits of gold lining and then the very nicely printed chocolate writing. It looks so nice. And then there's even a little bit of metallic, like bluish purple here in the head, which is very nice and contrasts really well. But yeah, chocolate goes down. I think there's a rubbery overlay in this a little bit just to get out of the way. But again, the belt. He doesn't transform with a belt, but they did a good job of making it so that the buckle felt substantial, so it didn't just like hide away like other beltless Kamen Riders have. It's this nice little chocolate bar, and it looks good. It looks really good. It looks really good. The arms also have some nice sculpting on them, nice little extra overlays for the chocolate. The legs also have nice overlays for the chocolate, and otherwise are fairly plain brown looking texture. The boots have some nice printing as well. I don't really see why this had to be super specifically P Bandai outside of maybe the chocolate text. Going to his back, again, more of that resplendent red is visible, though this tag is also visible. You might want to remove that if you're trying to be extra nice. But yeah, I don't really see why this had to be P Bandai outside of just character specificity and the fact that they don't like making secondary writers anymore, I guess. Anyhow, let's get into articulation. We have a ball joint, your usual ball joints. They're a bit tight on mine, but this upper ball joint especially has a lot of range. It's able to go back and forth, look down very nicely, and look up fairly well. A good amount of range on this neck, probably even better than Gav's. I'll go the shoulders. The shoulder pads are connected usually, the way Kamen Rider pads usually are. You know how they work. His shoulders are only able to get out about that far. The shoulder pads are attached a little bit tightly, and also there's the chocolate here, which doesn't move at all. but it works out fine. It's better than Revise, I think, but not the greatest. There's a bicep swivel, which is very nicely hidden. Double jointed elbow? Yeah, double jointed elbow, but it probably will only get a little over 90 degrees, which is fine enough. And you have your usual wrist pegs. Let's test out this torso articulation, because there's a lot of stuff in the way. So there's ball joint at the top of the bottom, able to arch back the top very well. It's able to arch forward pretty decently as well, all things considered. And then using the lower joint, so we'll go forward and back. The rubber bit, it does move, but it does get in the way of the belt a little. The belt does get in the way a little bit. And also I worry about flexing that too much. And then side to side is also very nice. These Gav figures have been good. I mean, I've only had one before, but Gav was good. I think there's there's a slight drop down at the hips, which allows you to kick forward about just like a straight 90, backward fairly nicely, and then out. It's able to eat itself and go nice and out. There's a thigh swivel, which is nice. Double jointed knee allows it to kick all the way. Doesn't quite kick all the way back, but like it's you don't need to do more than this, I don't think. There is a swivel at the boot, essentially, at the top of the joint. Is able to move forward and backward. Let's check that ankle tilt, which is, good ankle tilt. Good ankle tilt. Not bad by any means. Which means I'd say I like this about as much as I like Gav. I wish his shoulder pads were a little better. That's my biggest complaint articulation-wise, I think. But I do think he measures up with the previous release in this line. It moves quite nicely. And yeah, I think it does measure up. Gav does have that very nice clear plastic effect that kind of elevates it, I think, above this. And like, I really don't see why this had to be a P Bandai item. Like, some instances, I get it. Either a really obscure character or a really intricate character does generally feel worth that P Bandai expense, but this doesn't really feel like either of those. It feels like a figure that could have been made in the base line, but just wasn't for whatever reason. But I'm glad that he exists as a figure, and I'm glad to have him. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm glad to finally be getting back to like new releases again. Hopefully this is able to continue a little bit better now. I know some big releases are about to fucking happen. I know I'm being vague, but some big releases on the channel, not unboxing-wise at least, are imminent. Big unboxings are imminent, so I hope you stick around for that. But let me know. I hope I'm able to do more Kamen Rider videos from here on out. And S.H.Figuarts videos. Sorry there's been a lack of them. Just, release schedules and stuff have to be taken into account for these things. And I hope I see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!